Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Tice, and today I'm gonna tell you why I do what I do, why I'm an entrepreneur, and what I hope to do in my business. A while back, I was working in a warehouse, and one day I got a phone call from my kids or my son's daycare that my son had collapsed, and I did what every father do. I drove like a madman, 220, 250 kilometers an hour. I don't exactly know what that's in miles, but I know it's very fast, a lot faster than you're allowed to. I drove 100 kilometers in half an hour, and everything went fast. And I mean, when you hear that your son is lying lifeless on the floor, there's one thing going through your mind, or at least there was one thing going through my mind. It was, oh damn, I hope, I hope he, I hope he makes it. I mean, I was a mess. I didn't know what to think, how to feel, what to do about this whole mess. But I remember thinking one specific thing, and that was that if this is the end, I'll really regret that I work so far from home and that I don't spend enough time with him. And I drove and I drove and I drove and I got there, and he's slowly starting to sort of come back to life, but he's a little disorientated. Um, we don't exactly know at that point what's happened, and I see that there are paramedics and they're taking him to the hospital. They don't know what's happened. They don't know what's going on. So I go with them. I mean, dropping everything I have on my hands. The only thing I cared about was my son. I didn't care about my my coworkers or my friends or anything like that. The only thing on my mind was my son. So we go to the hospital, and they start taking all these measurements, and he seems like he's okay. But for these kind of things, when a kid collapses like he does, they take extra precaution. So he gets sedated, and when he's asleep, they run EEGs and different kind of brain analysis, and eventually we discover that he has a cyst in his head that's causing him to seizure. And he, over the coming half a year or something, has a ton of seizure, like sometimes several a day. And I mean, it felt horrible not to be able to do anything for your kid, and to just, yeah, it's the worst thing I've ever done in my life. And I don't wish it for anybody. But what also ended up happening was that my boss at the time, I was working in a warehouse, he told me that he didn't have any use of somebody who was only there 50%, 75% of the time. So he asked very bluntly if I thought that was going to change within the closest proximity or the nearest future. And I had to tell him, honestly, I don't know. I don't know when it's going to change, if it's going to change at all. I mean, it could be tomorrow or it could be never, that they find something that works. We were testing different medicine stuff. We have found something that works, and his cyst, it's not growing. It's not gonna uh, do anything worse to him. But I mean, as a parent, that's really hard. Every emotions running through your body. My heart was about to explode. I mean, I thought my son was going to die. I thought there was no more time for us. And I mean, I've given everything for him, everything, and I will do it in a heartbeat, in a blink. I mean, there's nothing you won't do for your kids. So um, when my boss asked these questions, I told him, like I said, I don't think there's going to be a change. I don't know. And my boss says, well, I don't think this is going to work. And when he said that, I realized how far gone we were, that I was out of time, that I had to come up with a solution. Um, so what I ended up doing was I ended up starting a company. At that time, I started a drop shipping store, and I mean, I got it to the point where I could pay my bills. It was okay. Problem with the drop shipping store is that there's a lot of upkeep. The margins typically not insane unless you find something that's very unique and nobody else does it. That's pretty much monopolized, where you can take a lot of money for it. Drop shipping can be a really hard model to be in because it's a lot more work for a lot less money than most people think. I know we've probably all seen the 100K in 3 days, and then at the end of that, maybe they're making 10K or 20K out of it. So I mean, it's a lot of work, and the margins are not great. So I actually ended up feeling really miserable, feeling like I'd traded a job for another job so that I wouldn't have time to take my kid to the doctor, so that I wouldn't have the time to, take care of him, to do all these things as a parent that I really wanted to do. Naturally, I wanted to make money. Otherwise, why do anything, right? But my inner hopes from becoming an entrepreneur was that I was going to be able to take care of my kids, that I was going to be able to help people, and that I would make a difference for somebody. So it felt miserable to feel like I was, selling my time to all these people who didn't even care about what my life looked like. So uh, I started to, consider closing shop and looking for another job, knowing that if I did, it might be the same thing. I mean, I might end up in the same place again. So I spoke to a friend who he's a personal trainer, a coach, pain coach. He works with pain science and neuroscience, and he helps people grow stronger despite having, back spinal diseases and problems with their musculature. He's a smart guy, and we sit down and we talk over coffee, and he says, I've seen what you've built. I mean, it's insane that you've been able to build it this fast. Would you be interested in helping me doing the same? And I thought to myself, yeah, why not? I mean, makes sense, right? I've acquired a skill set. I've taken a bunch of courses in marketing, a bunch of courses in sales, and a bunch of courses in building a business. And I mean, in the end, it doesn't really matter where I apply it. So I started helping him, and we started building. We built something called a sales funnel. I mean, it's basically a website, but it's a website that puts the right message in front of the right person at the right time. Where a website, it's kind of like walking into a store. Imagine that everything in the store is in one big pile on the floor, and you're supposed to find out what you want to find or what you want to buy from that pile. A website does similar. It sends a ton of signals without any specific offer. Whereas a sales funnel, it's very specific. So a broad percentage of the people visiting won't be inclined to take you up on the offer, but the percentage that does is going to be significantly higher. A website converts at, I think some of the best websites, according to Shopify, is 1.5%. And a sales funnel, at least the best ones I've made, are 30, sometimes 40% conversion rate. So putting the right message in front of the right person at the right time is going to get me a lot more results. And that's what happened for my personal trainer friend, for my friend who is a coach. He ended up making a lot more sales than he'd done previously. He had worked in his business, and he had started out getting clients. But then as he got more clients, he didn't really market his business anymore because he was so busy focused on getting results for the people he was working with, which ended up leading to him being in a dead end where he had no clients. So we turned that around for him. We started getting him clients. We started, working steadily towards him closing more sales. And in that process, I realized, man, I wanna do this for more people. I mean, there has to be a lot of other people who struggle with this. I did, he did. I mean, it would be natural to think that other people have the same problem. So I started a marketing agency. I mean, the margins were higher because I took most of the profit. The software systems that I paid, I could get discount on because I bought as an agency. so my clients wouldn't have to pay extra for it. And I mean, there were a lot of advantage to it. Plus, I got to do something that made a big impact in the businesses that I worked with. Most people, when they hire a marketing agency, what ends up happening is they'll break laws. They won't deliver results. Like I had one client coming into my business just now, who she worked with another marketing agency, and she'd been spending, I think she said 10 grand or something. And out of those money, she hadn't got a single phone call, not one, not even, a text message or an email or anything. And all the details were there because they focused on one aspect of the marketing. Where I think that it's more of a unified approach. We're no longer living in an age where a newspaper ad is going to get people to come into your office. We're living in a day and age where you have to, create a connection and actually offer value to get people interested, because everybody's so jaded. So I went out and I did this, and I've done so for the last 3 to 5 years. I've been in marketing for 10, 15 years. So, I mean, this was no new thing, but it's something where I feel like I'm making a difference, and that's important to me, because I believe together we can do more, we can achieve more. Elon Musk, he didn't invent the car, but he made the car better. And Einstein, he didn't invent the atom, but he created, or he found out how to use it for energy. So I mean, together we can do more. I'm going to leave you with that. If you like the video, please subscribe, hit like, leave a comment. If there's anything in regards to marketing or automation or sales that you're wondering, reach out. I'll be happy to help, because I mean, together we can do more. Thank you for watching. Take care.